continue onwards. We're definitely hoping to beat down on the Spanish a little bit with our privateers here pretty soon. We have heavy artillery. What does he want with that? The foreign secretary asks, aghast when he hears the message. Are we a threat to this man? Is he so afraid of us that he feels he must protect himself in this way? Then he jumps up so abruptly that his powdered wig slips down his forehead and a white cloud rises. Or does he want us to be afraid of him? We're being challenged to trade stone and clay of Europe. And then, before I forget, in the event log, there's a quest tab up here that tells you the quests that you've encountered. It looks like it is ordered like as if it were the event log, but just filtered down into quests. But it's good to know that this exists so that you can look back and see what you need to work on. It should also mark whether or not you failed something. I must have forgotten to make one of these colonists a settler when I sent this carrack out. It looks like it is meant to found the colony up here, so I think I need to send it back to Pearl Harbor. There needs to be some food in Pearl Harbor though in order for us to actually make a proper settler, which we have right here. Good deal. Yeah, no, sorry, you need to go back. Unless we can have the merchant man bring this guy to be a settler and then settle over here. We could just drop them off, basically. Yeah, let's go ahead, let's just drop these dudes off and we'll go from there. And they can just hold out in the forest for a little while. Okay, so we finished a chevaux de frise and hammerstruck. What do we want to build next? Well, our culture is not growing really as fast as I'd prefer it to, considering that there are other resources that we do want to access, including these mineral resources down here, which can be mined for silver, as well as the resources up here. So I'd kind of like to go with a village market into a tavern. We don't really need any buildings to produce secondary goods at the moment, but we could do a bakery to convert rice into provisions, considering we don't naturally make provisions ourselves in our colonies like the French do. And that's the only thing that we produce in this colony besides food and lumber, as well as clay, but clay we need for buildings. So I think we want to go with expanding our culture as fast as possible, so probably a village market, probably directly into a tavern right after that. And we've also got the village hall in Fort Cod done. Now Fort Cod might be a slightly different story. So we've got the coal here, but we don't have much ore access. We could ship ore around, which is probably what we're going to have to do. We could have tool production in Hammerstruck, and we could have gun production in Fort Cod. I think that's reasonable, because we don't want to centralize too much of the population in one city. We want to spread it out because it's cheaper because in terms of happiness, because happiness, seductive harlots costs as much as like an elder statesman. They're expensive. In this mod, there's a big difference between going wide and going tall, because going tall actually kind of becomes more expensive, yet it's also more efficient in other ways, so you have to weigh the options of building up or building out. Anyway, with this holo done, what do we want to do in Fort Cod? We might want to also focus on culture expansion here as well. I think the Carib fight more effectively in their own land. So if we take their land, then they'll fight less effectively. Of course, that won't work for attacking those settlements. I think we want to go with a chevaux de frise just to make sure that we don't get, like, burned down. It's very unlikely that we're going to get the colony burned down, but they'll raid us and steal stuff from us either way. So the Iroquois are upset that we've opened our borders to the Danes. Well, it's too bad. We're nowhere near you, my friend. And we're not role-playing anybody that really gets along with the natives in general. So I found an evangelist, a missionary up north, way, way above the French even. He is super far away from anything that we would get involved with. I'm just gonna have him found a mission somewhere. The question is where. I want him to get closer to us before founding the mission, so that any natives have to have less distance to walk, or it's closer for ships. Send him over to Louis. Got enough food on hand in Pearl Harbor. I'm gonna have somebody do some extra carpentry so we can get these buildings built faster, so we can expand our borders and access more food supplies here in Pearl Harbor. In my other playthroughs I've been doing, when not recording, I've been trading with the natives more, and I found that trading for food is actually pretty effective. It's pretty cheap. It's like 3 gold per food usually, if you don't bargain, which is actually really good in comparison to Europe, which is 10 gold per food. This means that every colonist effectively costs 6 gold per turn to feed if you trade with the natives for food. But you can make up for that by just producing more goods. So it can balance out, and that can help when you don't have a whole lot of food producing specialists or terrain available. I've actually got 2 indentured servants I really don't need from some shipwrecks that I found using my exploration caravel. I'd like to get them trained in something useful, so I'm probably going to send them to become fishermen over here. Because I can't train the native slave, but I can train the indentured servants. And I really like the idea of getting more food from the ocean, especially because our land is not that bountiful in general. There's a lot of marsh and wetland, which doesn't make very much food. It's definitely not plains or prairie. Grassland as well is pretty good. We found a French brig. It's got 30 strength in comparison to our privateer's 33 strength. We do have a negative 50% defensive bonus if he wanted to attack us though, so he could have a decent shot at taking us down. And he's got plus 10% defense versus privateer, so that brings him up to par with a privateer, defensively at least. We'll keep an eye on this guy, see where he goes. We have safe at last. Suddenly a shadow fills the doorway, blocking out the evening sun. The woman is startled as the shadow touches her, but then she looks up and smiles. "A beautiful evening, darling," the man says amiably. "Where's our little one?" "Isn't he playing with the chickens outside the door?" she asks, worried again. "Be calm. We finished putting up the palisades today. No wolf will be skulking around our houses, looking for a chicken, or something bigger." We got our first chevaux de frise, perhaps? Or maybe it's the first multiple chevaux de frise. And of course I have a church that needs stone and clay, right? Okay. Tupi are pissed about us being nice to the Portuguese. That's fine, we're gonna ignore that. I need to remember about this damn church that's been waiting. And that clay and stone is in the Sussex, right? Gotcha. We can trade with the Mixtec actually for food. So let's see here. They have 213 food. Let's offer to buy their furs as well. And they'll give us, that's 632. That's great, I accept that. We have the money, we need the food, that is for sure. And this brig went northeast. Let's see if we can't hunt him down. He probably got to Europe actually. Yeah, that's probably what happened. Too bad, too bad. And since we're here in Yadzoku with a ship, we might as well see what they want to sell us. A little bit of food, some furs, I'll take those. The furs they sell for 1 gold each pretty consistently. It doesn't seem to matter what native village it is. And the prices in general seem to be pretty consistent as well. But I've only just started really trading with the natives lately. Like, I'm not at all an expert at We the People. I've played for quite a few hours now, but not enough that I know everything inside and out. Hey, we found a enemy privateer. He is in defensive terrain though. He doesn't have any promotions that give him strength. We've got a 71.4% chance of surviving if we attack him where he is now, because of that tile defense, unfortunately. So we're gonna just ignore this for now, and see if he wants to take a shot at us here in a second. Let's actually have the failed trader in Pearl Harbor work instead of the grape picker here. That makes more sense. Fellow traders are better at carpentry. I'm really having issues with just like food limits basically. I think we can go ahead and start having the grape picker do his job, pick some grapes. So that means that we're up to plus 12 grapes, that we'd have the vintager do his job once we get a actual house set up. And I think I'll do that after the tavern. So let's find the vintager's house right there, and we'll get that in the queue set up. This particular colony is far enough away from the Carib that I'm not too concerned about it having a chevaux de frise. Now the appearance of that enemy frigate south over here does mean that we're going to need to start protecting our shipping lanes quite shortly. Considering the frigate's position, it almost makes me think that it is, not frigate, but privateer's position, it makes me think that it's Spanish in origin. That would not surprise me. Finally, we got the medical office done in Mother of Pearl. So we're gonna have someone do something actually useful now and not completely ruin the health of the colony. We will, however, need another source of food before we can start building the colony up more properly. Fortunately, we don't have anybody on hand to do that. Or we could ship food in. That's another alternative. Now that we got the medical office done, we probably want to build a chevaux de frise next, because we don't need to worry too much about expanding our borders, although expanding our borders gives us access to that shrimp bonus resource, which would be a major food source. But I'm definitely concerned about this village getting attacked, so let's build a defensive line first. Hey, I got a converted native grown out of this city instead of a regular free colonist. That's pretty cool. I do like how the growth mechanics in this game actually take into account what is present inside the colony. Now this guy would be pretty useful for some food production. I could move this slave that is inside the city north to Mother of Pearl to do some fishing, but there wouldn't be that much fish. Maybe like 3 fish, which is not enough. You could do some farming as well. Ideally, I'd like to train this converted native to do something like farming, honestly. Alternatively, I could have him become an expert fisherman as well, which I think is a pretty good choice. Yeah, let's have him just become an expert fisherman. He'll catch a ride somewhere else. Now this privateer went northwest. Let's see if no, he's still sticking around in defensive terrain. We want to keep a close eye on him and dissuade him from attacking our shipping lanes. You know, there's this grizzly guarding this animal lair, and this is marked as a valid settle location, so maybe these aren't considered as being connected by land. If that's the case, then I would probably prefer to settle right there. Though settling down one south means that we wouldn't have access to these huckleberries, these blueberries anymore, to provide us some fruit to make fruit brandy. Yeah, let's go ahead, we'll settle in place. This is a good spot. And we will not pay for the land, it's ours. Sorry. According to our great book, we own everything, so there you go. There's some cows here, there's fish, there's huckleberries, so we're gonna have like a ranching industry, probably gonna have some distilling brandy, a lot of plains as well, plenty of lumber. We're good. But so what are we gonna name this place? I don't think we should call it a brown cow. Why not? We'll have some cattle industry going on here, makes sense to me. Now what to build? I think we want to go for chapel first because we have a disillusioned missionary, a firebrand, an actual firebrand present just outside the colony. What we're going to do is going to have anybody that's been working, you've been working towards an expert rancher, so maybe not you. Maybe we'll make you the lumberjack. Yeah, let's go with that. No, we need to make the indentured servant the lumberjack because he produces more lumber, period. So let's have this guy start working on carpentry instead. We're at -1 for food, unfortunately. Once we get high enough in health, we'll probably be able to sustain another colonist though. But for now, we have to pull out one of the colonists. So what we really need here is possibly a pier. I think that makes... well, if we get any kind of expert fishermen here, they'll produce enough food, even without a pier, to feed a lot of people. So we'll just have to wait on that. Oh yeah, I needed some expert prospectors. Did I ever buy those? I got 1 expert prospector. I'm going to need a 2nd expert prospector since I do have access to some silver resources. I'll need that 2nd expert prospector only in maybe 30 turns after we start getting all these culture producing buildings built first. This pioneer, I'd like to start working on the silver mine here, but that is kind of dangerous because it's right next to the Carib. We could have a native mercenary watch him, or just let's just do the veteran. We should have no trouble with the veteran watching our back. The Carib do get extra strength in wetlands, which is his wetland, and that's 20% strength. They have 10% strength inside cultural borders, but those aren't their borders, those are our borders. And they have plus 10% versus gunpowder, so they plus 30% overall against us. That means one of their braves has a strength of 6.5. Our veteran has plus 30% strength straight up, so 8 times 1.3, that means he has a strength of 10, so there's a very, very low chance that they'd win, especially with the hill here. So we'll be totally fine to work on the silver mine, get that built as fast as we can. Gonna go ahead and have the miner start working on some ore. Well, crap, I can't because of health. Right. That is a problem. So instead of that, we probably need to do, after the market, we need to go with a medical office. Damn, dude. We got health limits, we got food limits. This terrain is rough. This is definitely rough terrain with all this marsh and wetland. And the solution to our problems is just probably just to expand some more, honestly. I think it's not a bad idea. So we can keep pushing west. That just means that we need soldiers. So it's actually, we've got some people here. I was wondering what to do with them while I was marking my turn out. I think what we want to do is we want to make them into troops. So let's make the free colonist a proper militia, because then he can become a veteran more easily than an indentured. I'm not sure if an indentured goes straight to a veteran. Well, I think he'd... See, I can't remember in the mod if he goes indentured to free and then veteran, or if he goes straight from indentured to veteran with enough experience. I think he might go straight to veteran, but yeah, let's find out over time. I like to make my indentured servants into soldiers anyway. I feel like it's a pretty good choice. Now, I don't want to make a town guard. Town guards are pretty decent at defending a settlement, but they have less strength than a colonial militia. I'd kind of like to make this guy into maybe a missionary, actually. But I do have the provisions that I already need for missionaries in Pearl Harbor. I've got enough for one. And I don't want to do much pioneering at the moment because I have a war coming up here in a second. So let's just take him as is. I don't think I can rename him here. Nah. Yeah, I'm going to just start actually naming things so I don't forget what I'm doing with them. And we could actually hurry a free colonist as well. I think that would be a decent choice, but the issue again is where do we put him? Because we've got horse production, we've got the lumber production that we need as well. Although we are falling behind on lumber production. It's there, but it's spread out. Yeah. We need some more lumber production, we need food. We can buy the food from the natives. We've also got the tools that we need for multiple sets of settlers. So I think what we do is we just get this free colonist, put him on the ship, and then grab somebody else as well. And be like, you two, you're with us. And then just go outwards from there. We would really like to get some actual gun production going. I'm going to float this 2,000 gold just in case there's a quest or an event. And we'll see what happens with that. They're engaging us actually, holy shit. Let's see if we win. Yes. That full. He's going northeast, it looks like. Northwest, gotcha. Well, damn it, he's in the freaking village. Alright, bro. We have the Oracle and a picture of Florida, a place that no one should ever go. I'm joking. I'm sure Florida is mostly okay. The council is reverently silent as a blind old man enters the circle. The seer leans on a staff, his back hunched, his voice low and exhausted. I have presented your concerns to the gods. You fear that these new settlers cannot understand our world. They create village after village as if they need to escape from each other. I have asked the gods a question that burns in your heart. Shall we kill all the settlers? Well, this is the answer of the gods. Tensely, the men lean forward. Yeah, we have a lot of people, we have a lot of settlements. The natives are getting quite concerned, and it is reasonable that they should be so. We got that Chevaux de Free built in Fort Cod. Next, I think I want to go with a village market to start expanding our borders. We'll start gun production here once we can get some ore. It's going to take 28 turns to build the armory at this rate anyway, so we might as well just start with increasing our borders. Although, we are at 0 on the health already, so maybe we could consider... What the hell are you doing? Please just mine coal at the moment, thank you. Although we can't keep up with lumber, that's true. Alright, stay right there then. We just need so many doctors because our land is so, like, unhealthy. With 5,236 gold, I'd like to get something else. The only question is what? I actually like to finish my turns before I buy anything from Europe, so I know for sure what it is I want exactly. And just in case anything would come up during the turn in which I would get more money, I'd like to get that money first, so I know that I have it to spend. Yeah, we can't sink this bastard in the village. He's too protected at the moment, so we just have to watch and wait until he leaves. Alright, cool. We're at the end of the turn, so now I can decide what it is I want to do with my gold. I really wish that I could get a renowned medic, but they cost 6,000 gold each, so that is definitely not going to happen. Probably just gonna have to go with random people. What we really need is we need so many more food producers that we just do not have access to at the moment. The only village nearby that trains expert farmer is a Carib village. That's too bad. I think we probably just need to go with more soldiers actually. And just take the Carib on sooner rather than later. Buy some more guns, all that jazz. Got enough people on hand just standing around, not doing anything. This train oil cooker, we're probably not going to use him as he is. The disillusioned missionary we can't turn into a soldier. Vintager we do want to make use of. But we've got some like poultry breeders standing around, some miners, dudes that could take up some guns. Really fighting the natives is more like, it's like, unless you have the artillery, you're not going to advance super rapidly. You really need artillery in general. We don't have the money, we do not have the money for another veteran heavy artillery. And they're definitely the best version of the heavy artillery. Yeah, we're short about 1,000 gold. Instead of that, we could pick up a veteran infantry soldier. Wouldn't be a terrible idea. But I kind of think we have the military that we need other than just raw soldiers in general. So let's pick up some guns. Yeah, let's pick up enough guns for 2 people. That leaves us with not enough money to cover the gunpowder costs, though I don't think. Because I need 120. I doubt that I'll have the money that I need, but that's okay. We'll have some guns, kick it around. We could even go sell these if we wanted to, but I think it's going to be better if we keep them on hand. The hell? Apparently our merchantman got attacked by an enemy privateer. Seriously? Did he kill it? Or did it get away? Wish it would have showed me exactly where that was. It was right here, okay. So he must have gone north because he's not down here. I'm gonna break the fleet up slightly. We have enough strength that I can check down here just in case. No, he's not present over here. Check this area. Should've... Did we kill him? Must have sunk him. I mean, the merchantman didn't get hurt at all. If he went from the village, he went 1, 2, attacked, 3. He would have maybe 3 movement points left, so he would have been gone by now. So I think we sunk him. Nice. Merchantman fought with an enemy privateer, very good. And we've got some enemy scouts finally rolling out in the north around France and Russia and all of them. We have a master and commander. Every ship needs a captain. Today you were able to hire a particular experienced sailor. They say a ship is only as good as its captain. Many brave men learn the seaman's business, but not everyone has leadership qualities. Many a drunkard has set his ship on the nearest rock or bullied his crew. But here and now you could recruit a true expert of the sea. Pay him well before he changes sides. I think that means that we got a great admiral. We got the expert prospector working on the silver as soon as possible because now we're making 7 silver from that mineral resource. But that means I need to pull somebody else out because our health is starting to go negative. Probably gonna have to be the free colonist working as a carpenter that isn't doing anything truly. He's only producing like 1 hammer at the moment, which is not much. Looks like we're gonna snipe 2 treasures from the Danes right here. Unit experience and ancient treasure, very good indeed. Everything that I get is something that my opponents do not get. We do indeed have an able captain back in the pearly gates. I'm gonna have him crew a good ship at some point in time. We'll find out eventually what we're gonna do with him. I dropped off some people using this West Indiaman, which has the heavy artillery that I purchased in Europe. I'm gonna bring those back along with the free colonists to pearly gates, or at least nearby pearly gates. And then we'll probably go into attack the Carib using the heavy artillery once we get these dudes concentrated up. We'll attack them in like 1 fell swoop. And hopefully we'll take this village out before it can respond and start damaging improvements or something. I've arrived with my merchantman in Pearl Harbor. I'm going to pick up the train oil cooker and the native slave as well as the clay and stone and take that back up to the pearly gates as soon as I possibly can. So we can get that church built and we can get that second firebrand preacher slotted into his place. We're going to take the food and the horses that we have on hand from the pearly gates and bring those down to Pearl Harbor. And that will be like our central settler staging site because that has the tools. It can produce lumber, and we just bring lumber and food if necessary, but we'll have the horses stored here, since this is on the mainland in comparison to the pearly gates, which is quite far away. The king is offering to sell us some prisoners for 1,020 gold. That would show up in the pearly gates, but I can only take so much negative happiness in that particular city. And as the happiness drops, domestic prices will drop, and I want to try to start satisfying my domestic market a little bit, because you can make quite a bit of money, and having domestic goods be sold gives you more happiness as well. So we're not going to do this. Finally, we got that stone and clay to build the church, so we'll get that done right away. And hopefully we'll be able to slot in the firebrand preacher to do his job. And there we go, we're getting plus 14 crosses, 2 of which are from our buildings. Let's see if I can slot the native slave into working on the fish, and then find a job for the train ore cooker. Have him actually do some rope production. Gonna need an actual renowned medic here in Pearly Gates pretty soon. The colonist that's been working here has only been working here for 22 turns. It takes about 60 to 80 to learn your specialty. That has partially increased the speed of which by the happiness of the city. The happier the city, the faster people learn by doing. Population grows faster, more immigration. It actually modifies the number of crosses that you produce in the city by the happiness modifier. I'm not sure what the math is exactly on it though. Because we built that church, we got the house of God, windows that float high up under the ceiling, windows through which a ray of sunlight falls at the first devotion onto your face. The faithful murmur, the Lord God may watch over his heavenly kingdom and over the hereafter, but here, in the new world, you are his representative, and you have given this house to your subjects. The first house of God in this half of the earth, may it bring glory to God and glory to you. Wonderful. I've got a master confectioner here, which would be pretty cool to do if I could get some cocoa. If I remember right, chocolate requires sugar and cocoa. Yeah, the confectioner's house combines, actually, looks like it's not just cocoa, but like roasted cocoa pods, as well as sugar. So yeah, to use that guy, we'd need a source of sugar, which we have a little bit of in the Pearly Gates, and then we would need cocoa. We can get a little bit of cocoa from the melons here, but I'd rather use that for the fruit eventually. Other than that, I don't see us having a very good supply of sugar anywhere around here. Well, there's a couple places in maybe Fort Cod, especially if we chop some of the stuff down. Oh, we can get some cocoa here too. Alright, so Fort Cod, maybe we can do some chocolatiering. So we've got some cocoa and we've got some sugar as well. That sounds like a pretty reasonable idea to me. We have 5,000 gold. I really need a renowned medic, but actually I'm the English, so they might be a little bit, yes, they're cheaper. I'll take that renowned medic, thank you very much, and set them on their way to the Pearly Gates first. Gonna drop out that medic. Oh my god, look at this immigration bar. Producing 32 crosses per turn, 11% increase from happiness, 5% decrease from unhappiness, 3% increase from law. The amount of law and order you produce is also modifying the amount of crosses I'm generating. So that's pretty great. Alright, we're almost in position to begin the attack against the Carib. None of them have double movement promotion, so I don't need to worry about them moving more than one tile. And we'll begin the assault probably in the next turn. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's do it now, I think. I need to take a quick look around to see if anybody is exposed to any Carib natives before I pull the trigger. Nope, no one's exposed. Right now he hates us tremendously, so he's going to be expecting this, and indeed he is. He has 4 natives prepared and make ripe. But now, my friend, is the time. We've come to discuss something else. This is war. You just happen to be in the way, friend. Gonna bombard those city defenses down, and then we should be able to get one of these dudes to attack. 97.4% odds of survival, 2.6% chance of death. Not great, because of that's a marsh, and the tile itself has defensive terrain. But here we go. Looks like we lived. But we get to destroy those natives. Alright, there's no way I can attack with a colonial militia. Yeah, 62% chance of surviving, so he needs to stay where he is, fortified. We're not in a forest, so they can't easily attack us and get some kind of like super good bonus. We're in Savannah. They don't have a Savannah bonus. They have like mangrove, swamp, marsh, etc. I'm gonna have the colonist in Pearly Gates I'm now adding work on making hemp ropes. Adding him does make us negative on health though, in terms of the net modifier, so I need to take that train oil cooker out. He really doesn't serve much of a job, any kind of job at all. But he will eventually if we build ourselves a whaling ship, as well as a train oil house or manufactory. I'm right here just east of the Dutch, and I got a campfire for a free colonist and 1,020 gold from meeting this village right here.